There's a theory of history. It's called the great man theory. It basically says history's forged by great men. The George Washingtons, the Alexander the Greats, the Jesse Waterses. Individuals drive the fate of civilization. And there's other theories about everything. Economics is the main driver. I personally believe geography plays a big factor, but leaders define reality. And we celebrate when good ones succeed, and we celebrate when bad ones fail. We root for failure. And the best part about the United States of America is we can get rid of our own leaders if enough of us vote. Now, it can be frustrating when you live next to idiots, because idiots put idiots in charge. But even sometimes idiots realize they picked an idiot. And that's what happened last night in Chicago. Chicago has been living in a nightmare for years. And this morning, the city woke up to good news. The Windy City's getting a new mayor.
Thank God.
And tonight we're going to tell you about what the Chicago election means for the Democratic Party. It's actually good news. It's good news for the country because prime time's noticed a trend. But first, let's dance on Lori's grave. She can sing.
Come on, oh baby, don't you wanna go? Come on, oh baby, don't you wanna go?
Oh, and she can dance. She can even deliver pizza.
Hey, did you order thousands of new jobs and a pepperoni?
If only Smollett had ordered pizza that night instead of going out for Subway. The kiss of death, though, for Lori in Chicago is when she crossed the Italians. She took down a Christopher Columbus statue and then rubbed it in the Italians' face.
The mayor said she had a bigger male body part than the Park District lawyers on the call and Italians, and that she claimed to have the biggest male body part in the city.
Now, after dissing the Italians, Lori pulled a Pelosi and went to the hair salon during COVID when no one else was allowed to.
I'm the public face of the city. I'm on national media, and I'm out in the public eye. And I'm a person who I take my personal hygiene very seriously. As I said, I felt like I needed to have a haircut. I'm not able to do that myself, and so I got a haircut.
So Lori didn't really realize she wasn't hired for her looks. She was hired because of her identity. The first black lesbian mayor of Chicago. Oh, you better believe she shatters 2 glass ceilings. But Chicago quickly found out that the woman they hired for her race was a racist.
When I look out at across this podium, as I'm doing now, I don't see much in the way of diversity. The fact that the City Hall press corps is overwhelmingly white, has very little in the way of diversity, is an embarrassment.
So the black lesbian mayor would only talk to black reporters. She wouldn't even talk to white lesbians. Now, who can forget Lori's costumes? She dressed up as a leprechaun on St. Paddy's Day and the Rona Destroyer on Halloween. Lightfoot's great at a costume party, not really great in the mayor's office. She could do it all, well, except fight crime and cut her hair. And now she's paying the price. Lightfoot's the first Chicago mayor to lose re-election in 40 years. She only got 17% of the vote after spending the last 4 years turning Chicago into a third world city. Murder's up 60%, and you can't blame that on COVID. Gangbangers were waging war broad daylight. Kids got mowed down in drive-bys on their way to school. Chicago streets were soaked in blood. But Lori was in denial.
Crime is not out of control in our city. In fact, crime is on the decline. All of our major indices showed a decline in crime, and our homicides and our shootings year over year are down. That's a fact, sir.
So that was a lie. Lightfoot tried to defund the police after the BLM riots tore through it, and then blamed business owners for getting robbed.
Some of the retailers downtown in Michigan Avenue, I will tell you, I'm disappointed that they're not doing more to take safety and make it a priority. For example, we still have retailers that won't institute plans like having security officers in their stores, making sure that they've got cameras that are actually operational, locking up their merchandise at night, chaining high-end bags. These purses seem to be something that is attracting a lot of attention on these organized retail theft units.
Turns out victims don't like being blamed for getting shot, robbed, and raped. But that's not why she lost. She lost because of racism. Here she is, quote, "I'm a black woman, let's not forget. Certainly, folks, frankly, don't support us in leadership roles." Whoa, did she forget she shattered double glass ceilings just 4 years ago? Lori's the first black lesbian mayor in Chicago. Now, all of a sudden, everyone's racist and sexist? In 2019, she won by 75% of the vote. A third of the city's black, half are women. Or as Smollett calls it, MAGA country. Where did all these new racist, sexist voters come from? Lori's just ripping a page out of Crooked's playbook. You remember, if you win, you shatter. If you lose, it was the sexists or the Russians. Kamala and Stacey did the same thing. What happened is simple. It doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican. People just want to feel safe. And we're seeing it all over the country. In the midterms, Republicans won the House with a common sense message: less crime, more police. They flipped those deep blue seats in New York, even Oregon, proving voters see crime's the problem, no matter what the media says.
They have now turned to a strategy that sensationalizes crime, that weaponizes crime, and that racializes crime to unfortunately engage a certain demographic of their voting base.
All they do is talk about crime, crime, crime. But crime is not on the rise. It's actually going down under Joe Biden.
These are master manipulators. They have this conspiracy going all across America to try and convince people that in democratic states they're not as safe. Well, guess what? They're also not only election deniers, they're data deniers.
All right, so the crime deniers say crime's not happening, and if you say it is, you're a conspiracy theorist. And nobody bought that except Lori Lightfoot, and now she's out of a job. And the pro-police Chicago Democrat, Paul Vallis, is in the lead. He's going to win. He says he's going to make Chicago the safest big city in America. That promise gets you elected every time, Democrat, Republican. It worked for Rudy, worked for Bloomberg here. And the defund the police has failed everywhere. It's poison. Democrats are finally starting to realize it, and the smart ones are moving away from it. And that's a good sign for the country. America's heading in the right direction.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.